What is the world coming to? A world where everyone lives in fear, where those who are different are arrested and dragged away, never to be seen again, where comedians are silenced because those in power can't take a joke, where greed, hatred, and judgment drive a nation. This is the world depicted in Alan Moore's 1982 graphic novel V for Vendetta, a dystopian fiction that today feels eerily real. Hey my fellow revolutionaries, I'm VCR Guy, and today we're taking a dive into James McTeague's V for Vendetta. Alan Moore and David Lloyd created a story about a masked vigilante waging war against a fascist government in a crumbling Britain. It was angry, poetic, and political. A warning about where fear and authoritarianism lead. Fast forward to 2005. Director James McTeague, with the Wachowskis producing, adapted V for Vendetta for the screen. It arrived in a world already on edge. An era of heightened security, surveillance, and us versus them politics. What had started as a British warning about Thatcher-era politics suddenly felt like a commentary on our own headlines. The film tells the story of Evie Hammond, a young woman who crosses paths with V, a masked revolutionary who believes the only way to wake up a passive, frightened society is to burn the system down. The regime of Chancellor Sutler rules through fear, scapegoating, and propaganda, while dissenters vanish into black bags. When V for Vendetta premiered, this felt like heightened fiction, a stylized nightmare about another time, another place. But watching it now, almost 20 years later, its themes feel less like a cautionary tale and more like a mirror. One of the most quietly powerful moments in V for Vendetta isn't an explosion or a sword fight, it's a joke.
What's all this about?
I'm celebrating.
Celebrating what?
I think this could be the best show you've ever done.
Stephen Fry's character, Gordon Dietrich, hosts a comedy show that dares to poke fun at Chancellor Sutler's regime. It's a harmless sketch by normal TV standards. In Sutler's Britain, it's a crime. Gordon is dragged from his home in the middle of the night and disappeared for telling a joke. That scene feels theatrical until you look around. Across the world, humor is often treated as subversion. Even something as innocent as a children's character can be censored if it threatens the aura of authority. Because ridicule undermines authority. Why? Because satire punctures the myth of invincibility. It breaks the spell. Regimes built on fear can't afford to be ridiculed. A single joke can feel more dangerous than a protest sign because it makes people see the absurdity of power. By showing Gordon Dietrich's fate, V for Vendetta isn't just dramatizing a fictional regime. It's warning us that silencing dissent, especially humor, is always one of the first moves in the authoritarian playbook.
Tonight, I will speak directly to these people and make the situation perfectly clear to them. The security of this nation depends on complete and total compliance.
Chancellor Sutler isn't just a leader, he's a bully. He screams at his ministers, demands loyalty, and humiliates anyone who hesitates. His power isn't just built on laws or ideology. It's built on intimidation, the giant screens, the barking orders, the constant loyalty tests.
One more failure. 347 days, gentlemen. 347 failures!
All of it creates an atmosphere where fear replaces respect. This is the classic strongman template. Rather than persuading, the leader browbeats. Rather than collaborating, he coerces. Instead of inspiring trust, he manufactures obedience. Behind the speeches and slogans, there's a constant message: cross me, and you'll regret it. You see it in Sutler's rants at his inner circle. You see it in how his subordinates flinch, not because they disagree with his policies, but because they fear his wrath. The regime's public face is unity, but its private reality is intimidation. V for Vendetta exaggerates this for drama, but it's not a fantasy. This is how authoritarian power often works in practice. Not as a well-oiled machine of true believers, but as a hierarchy of frightened people trying not to be the next target. One of the most chilling images in V for Vendetta isn't the explosions or the masks. It's the black bags. People hauled out of their homes in the dead of night, vanished without a trial, without a headline, without even a name. The regime calls it order. Everyone else calls it fear. That's not just movie shorthand. History is full of these moments. From Nazi Germany to Stalin's USSR to ICE raids in modern America, the uniforms and languages change, but the tactic doesn't. Make dissenters disappear and the rest will keep their heads down. Fear works best when it's quiet and arbitrary. This is why those black bag scenes hit so hard. They're not superhero movie exaggeration. They're a warning. The moment a government, any government, starts deciding who gets to speak, who gets to stay, and who simply disappears, it's already playing from the authoritarian handbook. V for Vendetta makes it visceral. It turns a political concept into a physical image. A black bag over a head, a neighbor who's suddenly gone. It's a reminder that liberty is easiest to lose when we're too busy or too scared to notice. If Sutler is the fist of the regime, then Louis Prothero, the voice of London, is its tongue. Night after night, he rants on state television, spitting out slogans about strength through unity, unity through faith, screaming about enemies of the state, foreign diseases, and moral decay. It's cartoonish at first, but it's also familiar. Authoritarian systems always need a Prothero, a voice that turns complex fears into simple sound bites. In V for Vendetta, the media doesn't just inform, it terrifies. Prothero bellows lines like,
immigrants, Muslims, homosexuals, terrorists, disease-ridden degenerates. They had to go. Strength through unity. Unity through faith. I'm a God-fearing Englishman and I'm goddamn proud of it.
These broadcasts are Sutler's secret weapon. They make people afraid of the wrong things, so they'll accept anything done in the name of safety. And that's not just a British nightmare. Around the world, politicians and state media exploit crises, immigration, economic collapse, to tighten their grip. Fear keeps people compliant. Fear is the cheapest, most reliable currency of control. By the time V strikes back, you understand why his mask caught on in real life. The film is showing us how easily truth can be replaced by a loud, angry voice, telling you who to hate and what to fear, and how seductive that can be when the world feels unstable. For all its darkness, V for Vendetta isn't just a movie about fear, it's a movie about symbols. V himself is less a man than an idea. He moves through Sutler's Britain like a ghost, quoting Shakespeare and blowing up landmarks, but the real power isn't in his bombs, it's in his mask. The Guy Fawkes mask starts in the story as a disguise, but ends as a rallying cry. In the film's climax, hundreds of ordinary citizens march on Parliament wearing that same face. It's a striking image. The regime's greatest weapon is fear, and V's greatest weapon is anonymity. If they can't scare you as an individual, they can't stop you as a crowd. That image escaped the screen. From anonymous to Occupy to protests in Hong Kong, the mask became a real-world icon of resistance. People who had nothing else in common could show up, put it on, and instantly feel part of something bigger. A movement that said, you can't intimidate an idea. And it's not just this mask. Around the world, movements have picked up symbols that started as pop culture and turned them into banners of defiance. In Indonesia, during student protests, demonstrators waved the pirate flag from One Piece, a cartoon about freedom-loving outlaws, to signal unity against authority. It didn't matter where the flag came from. What mattered was what it represented: solidarity, rebellion, and hope. That's the enduring power of V for Vendetta. It isn't telling us that one lone vigilante will save us. It's telling us that fear works only when we act alone, and that symbols, satire, and solidarity can break the spell. V for Vendetta was written in 1982 and adapted for cinema in 2005. Fear, propaganda, the silencing of dissent. These aren't just tropes of a dystopian comic. They're recurring patterns in human history. That's why this film still feels so relevant. It isn't a prophecy about one country or one leader.
My turn.
It's a warning about how easily we trade freedom for security, how quickly we grow numb to overreach, and how power always tries to make itself permanent. The masks, the pirate flags, the memes, they're reminders that people everywhere can still find ways to stand together, even when the system tries to divide them. Symbols matter. Ideas matter. They're harder to kill than any individual. But here's the part the movie can't do for us. We have to look up from our TikTok feeds, our doom scrolling, and our distractions. We have to pay attention to the people in power, because this cycle of authoritarianism will keep repeating if we don't. Or, as V himself says,
Beneath this mask, there is more than flesh. Beneath this mask, there is an idea, Mr. Creedy. And ideas are bulletproof.
I'm VCR Guy, and this has been Very Cool Reviews. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, don't be mean, be kind, and rewind.